Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of Nickelodeon's most popular shows. It has a tremendous fan base, and the show itself was fun and awesome to watch. But what if I told you that there was a dark side to this seemingly harmless show? I mean, there are a lot of dark stuff in the Avatar show, but something more dark than that. Something that can even scare even the most bravest man. What if I tell you that there was a lost promo short of the show that never saw the light of day because of several incidences? Well, our protagonists will learn certainly that in this story. So join me as we read the story called Howtobeanairbender.avi. Most stories, no matter how absurd, have some truth to them. I never imagined such a truth could ever be like this. Have you ever noticed that dark places tend to be cooler than sunny places? Of course, the obvious reason for this is that the sunlight simulates movement in the air particles, which is, by definition, heat. But some shady places are unusually cold, as though they were somehow less than no sunlight there. As though somehow there were so many shadows in the room that they block more sunlight than what was actually shining. For me, I used to be somewhat of an expert of all things related to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, I wasn't a postal fan of so I find it a bit too ridiculous for 90s, but I was a martial arts fanatic at the time, and my best friend made me watch it. So I figured that I just watch it with her just to make her happy, even if I didn't find the same enjoyment in the show as she did. Now, I was browsing the web one morning. This particular friend of mine sent me an email containing a bonus episode. She claimed it was taken off the air, but just for historical purposes, a single recording was saved, which her father, being the rich bastard he was, purchased it for her. She then went on to explain, LOL neat how-to vid, got to try now, okay bye. I was not amused by my friend's internet dialect, but the prospect of a piece of media from Avatar I haven't seen before excited me. I downloaded the attachment and opened it up on Windows Media Player. The video started out a little blurry and the colors twitched occasionally, possibly due being a very old recording, and being from that time period, of course, is not going to age well. Nevertheless, it was basically clear what was being shown. The video appeared to occur from the perspective of the viewer, or a fictional camera of some sort. The episode had no time card, it simply leaped into action, and before I knew it, Aang's face was staring at me. He grinned playfully and rotated the view to show me our surroundings. A grassy field, a patch of flowers over on the left. Hey there, Avatar Watcher, he began. Ever wonder if it's really possible to do the things we do in this show? I never thought about it. Today, he continued, I'm going to teach you how to be an airbender, just like me. I rolled my eyes. It was probably going to be some kind of collection of see do's and don'ts that networks are known for in promotions like this. Ahsoka here will be my assistant. Ahsoka walked on screen and nodded excitedly, grinning and forming a peace sign. Then extended his arm to his side and began to fumble with the positions of his fingers, watching his shadow intensely. First, narrated Aang, on a bright sunny day, go outside and stand near something shaking in the wind so that your shadow falls over it. Like this. He then gestured to Sokka, who stepped carefully around, still staring at his shadow until the shadow's hand fell over the flower's patch. And then, Aang raised an eyebrow and pulled a scroll out of his pocket. You carefully manipulate your finger so that your shadow's hands appear to be pincing the chosen object. He read aloud, his eyes following his finger as it ran across the page. Sokka chuckled and did as the instructions indicated. His shadow closed its fingers around the trembling flower. Make sure that whenever you're using moves, your shadow moves with it, so it looks like your shadow is shaking it, not the wind. Once you got it, keep doing it for about a minute. As the wind continued to blow, Sokka wiggled his fingers, trying to keep the flower in his shadow's hand. After a few seconds, time seems to happen faster in TV shows than in real life, the wind stopped, but the flower continued shaking with Sokka's shadow. As Sokka moved his hand to assist, the flower moved with the shadow's hand, picking itself and allowing itself to be blown across the grass. If you did it right, Hey, Sokka! Don't get ahead of us! Sokka laughed and blew the flower across the ground with his shadow's hand. Anyway, Aang continued grunted. As you can see, if you did it right, congratulations! You now have the power over wind! Aang scratched his chin and stared thoughtfully upward for a moment. Well, actually, he explained, you have control over your shadow, and your shadow does the same stuff now as the wind does. So it's kinda like having control over wind, right? He smiled nervously. It didn't look to me like Sokka's shadow had the power of wind. The wind was less reasonable. From the way the flower was moving, it looked like it was being pushed by a solid object. As I thought about the matter, from the corner of my eye, I thought I saw Sokka's shadow move by itself. Maybe it was just a crappy video quality. Just one more thing. Once you become an Airbender, the screen faded to black. Aang and Sokka appeared near the camera and stared at me with large, glazed pupils. They began to speak together in slow, deep unison. Never leave the sunlight again. Then the video abruptly cut to static. I was shaken by this and closed media player nervously. I looked at the file name. It simply read Howtobeanairbender.avi. I began to do some research on this little sword on Google. Apparently, the sword had stopped airing due to the disappearances of the children who had watched it. The children were all found dead, each one of them in dark rooms. The marks on their necks indicated they've been strangled to death, but the lack of foreign DNA on their necks has confused the investigators and makes you wonder who the killer was. I saw a picture of the two victims side by side. I noticed something was off about it. I didn't notice it until I looked really closely. And then, my eyes widened in horror. One of them had no shadow.